Hello and welcome to Western Nevada College Lifelong Learning on Location. I'm Ann Hansen. I'll be your host today as we're on location at Western Nevada College Carson campus. We're talking with members, faculty, and students from the college's Deaf Studies program, where they learn American Sign Language, learn how the deaf culture works. They learn to be able to work in a career in Deaf Studies. With me today is the teacher of the Deaf Studies program, Cindy Frank. Cindy, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Cindy is the teacher of the program, and she herself uses sign language and American Sign Language as your first language, don't you?
Yes, my first language is ASL. My mother is deaf and my father is hearing, but his parents were deaf. So all four of my grandparents are deaf, so we learn sign language first.
And you have two wonderful students from the program with you. Would you care to introduce them?
Yes, I would like to introduce them. First, I want to let you know I'm interpreting for Sarah Kale, who is herself deaf. She is due to graduate from Western Nevada College this fall, right? Or in May, yes. And so this is Sarah, and to my right is Julie Balderson. And Julie is also going to be graduating with a Deaf Studies degree here at WNC. Yeah, thank you for coming today.
It's wonderful to have both the teacher and the students. Perhaps we should start by talking a little bit about the program, and perhaps you've introduced yourself. Let's introduce the students that you brought. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Sarah.
I'm 26 years old, and I joined WNC around about 6 years ago. I started with a different degree, but as it went on, I figured out it wasn't right for me, so I shifted and joined the Deaf Studies degree program, and it's really been wonderful for me because it's my natural language, and I can get involved with people that understand me. Yeah.
That's wonderful. It sounds like it brings your face to life. It sounds like you're very happy in the program.
And if I can add, hearing people, all of you guys out there, you study your language, English, from kindergarten all the way through graduate school and college. Deaf people never have the opportunity to study their own language, and it's important to know that ASL is a separate, distinct language from English. We have our own grammar, syntax, and it is a foreign language, just like French or Spanish, and it's offered as a foreign language here at WNC.
That's true.
So it's really, most of the deaf students that join our program, it is most of the time the first time that they've had the opportunity to really study their own language. So it's beautiful. Yeah.
Was that the case for you?
Yes, I was really interested. I was born, it was interesting. I was born hearing. So really, my English is my first language. But at 13, I became deaf. And for 2 years, I just floundered. There wasn't any kind of communication for me. When I was 16, I came here to WNC and I took an ASL class, and I just fell in love with it because it was so easy to understand. It was easy to learn, and it just felt very natural for me. So it was really wonderful and a little bit different than I was different than other deaf people because other deaf people grew up signing. So when they come here, they're like, oh, that's the grammar. Those are the parts of speech for ASL. But for me, I'm more come from a more hearing perspective, and so I look at it from grammatical point of view. But it's so fun to learn. It's really I'm just very interested in languages already. So. I'm really enjoying.
I want to ask you some questions about that after we meet Julie. Let's meet Julie. You're another student in the program.
Yes. Actually, I'm dually enrolled here. I have one semester left here at WNC and also one semester left at UNR. At UNR, my bachelor's will be in French with a minor in journalism. And here, my coursework obviously is deaf studies. And it's really, I think, my favorite of all of them. If I could be partial to anyone, they're all great schools and great programs. But something that really, really strikes me about this program in particular is that you're helping set up really, how do I say, you would really benefit more, your community benefits more from sign language more than it does from French. So if I had to choose which one, if it really came down to, I can't study both, it would be sign language because it's more beneficial to me, to the community. I can meet deaf members of the community and communicate with them because really there are so many different people, different backgrounds who are deaf in the community, and they have such a diverse spectrum of people, where they've come from, how they became deaf, if they were born deaf, things of that nature, and they're really from everywhere, and you're really missing out when you can't communicate with deaf people.
Absolutely, and I think that for you this could be a career opportunity for both of you. Might it be a career opportunity? Yes. Mm-hmm. Cindy, tell us a little bit about the deaf community in Northern Nevada.
Well, it's growing, definitely, as is Nevada. The deaf community here, it's really improving a lot. A lot more people are moving here because we now have a program. I want to say that WNC is the only place and the first place that offered American Sign Language as a foreign language. But more importantly, it's the only place where a person can learn sign language and get a degree from it, and also take interpreting classes. We are the only institution in Northern Nevada that offers interpreter training. It's one thing to learn a language, and it's an entirely different thing to be able to interpret that language. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's a process that you have to learn. And right now we are in dire, and I mean dire, straits regarding a lack of interpreters. Would you like to say something about that, Sarah? Many times when I take a class, I want to, but I can't take that class and I can't be included because there's no interpreters. Not here at WNC, right? But most of the time, I don't have a problem here, but because there's just not enough interpreters. We are just so short. We are really seriously desperate for interpreters. And that is one of the reasons the program here is just so beautiful, because we can see the students start with a ASL 1 and grow all the way and go to ASL 4 and then start training for interpreters and go on, and now they're going out into the community. And we benefit. We use them, and it's really beautiful. If I could add a little bit more, interpreters make a good amount of money. It is a great career. First of all, it's flexible. You can interpret anywhere in the United States and Canada because ASL is the third most used language in the United States and Canada. Also, too, American Sign Language is the most studied language in the United States. It is the #1 studied language. And so you can work in schools and have the same schedule as your children if you want to be a mother, or you can interpret in the community, and if you're going to college classes, you can arrange your interpreting schedule around your college classes, or if you're a mother and you want to make some extra money interpreting for doctor appointments or in court or just about everywhere, you would need communication with the public. We also have interpreters here that interpret for our deaf students, and they make pretty good money, depending on your skill level. But interpreters can make anywhere from $20 to $60 to $75 an hour. depending on where you interpret and your skill level.
That's a good point. Is that something you're looking at, Julie?
Well, also there's another facet to that, going off of what Cindy said, that, it's a marketable skill just as, speaking Spanish is a marketable skill. If you're not working directly with deaf people, you can still benefit greatly from knowing sign language, because say you're going to go work at a doctor's office, or if you're going to work in another secondary type job where you will be working with everybody in the public, that includes deaf people. Also, there's always services like, working for the Office of Disability Services, or if you're going to work at the legislature, or things like that, where maybe not necessarily your job doesn't depend on having deaf clientele, but it's awesome to have it, to be able to communicate, to have that second language.
That's a really good point, because this is the kind of skill that's totally portable. It can be integrated into any type of a career. It doesn't take a lot of heavy equipment. It's not expensive to transport. But yet it's a skill that can reach people on a personal level immediately and make connections and solve problems. Very, very interesting. And so you think you might be looking at it as a skill in whatever career you choose.
Right.
And how about you, Sarah? What do you think you'll do?
I'm already using it for my work, believe it or not. I work as a private tutor for students and other people in the hearing community that want to learn sign language or improve their skills. Also, too, I work here at WNC. I am a mentor for the Deaf Studies program. And my goal is to eventually teach ASL here, and maybe UNR.
And you speak well also. And then do you read lips too? So you have a real advantage over some other folks, because you can kind of utilize many tools, can't you?
Yes, it's true. There's a funny story, because when I first started learning how to lip read, I hated it. Let's be honest, looking at people's mouths isn't really that exciting. But now when I look back, I look at it as I really enjoy having that skill, the flexibility, because it allows me to be involved more with the hearing world and be able to interact with them. It's better than if I only used ASL, or I feel really fortunate.
I can see why.
Well, most are like Julie. They take it because they need it to graduate with their AA or their BA degree, and they get hooked. And many of them, they're nursing students here or police officers, and they're realizing, wow, this is the third most used language. Okay, I can really this will look really good on a resume, because there's a lot more Spanish interpreters available than ASL interpreters. And so to be a police officer and communicate with deaf people, to be a nurse and communicate with deaf people, I cannot tell you the benefit. Some of them love it so much that they throw out their original plan and they pursue a field in interpreting. So it can be just an extra language to know and to put down on your resume. Some people are here. I have a grandfather that's in here whose granddaughter is deaf, and I told him that is the biggest gift that you could ever give your daughter. I mean, there is no college education, there's no car, there's no trip to Europe that will ever match the gift that you're giving a deaf person when you can communicate with them. If you think about it, deafness is not necessarily a disability. If we start signing, the three of us, who's disabled? You see what I mean? So there's a cure. There's a cure to deafness, and that we don't necessarily consider ourselves disabled, but language different. Does that make sense?
Very much so.
And so when you learn this language, you are adding to the cure. You are part of the cure of deafness.
Well, you're certainly empowering the deaf community, aren't they?
Also, I want to add that my mom is learning sign language, and what Cindy said is so true. It is the best gift that to have someone that you can communicate clearly with is just awesome and beautiful. So any of you out there, you know, deaf people have friends and family and so on and so forth. If you learn sign language, it's the best gift that you could give us.
Do you feel the personal level of what you're doing?
Yeah, it really hits you. Every once in a while you hear a story just about a simple thing, you know, a daily task that we do take for granted because we can communicate in a predominantly hearing world. Just about being able to order your own food and not having somebody decide for you what you want. You know, when you think about it, you're out at a restaurant, especially with children. If you're a hearing child, you can say, Mommy, I want the hamburger, I want the hot dog or whatever. But a lot of times those very small decisions are taken away from deaf children if they're not able to communicate. And it happens on the adult level too, just those little things that you take for granted. And that's, I think, when it really hits home the most, is when it's something just so small, or something that we would see as just every day, something just small.
Becomes a frustration, definitely. So let's talk about the event that you have coming up, because it's really about empowering people, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell us about it, and you can all chime in.
Yes. Well, it really connects beautifully with what we have just chimed in on.
What is it?
It is a day. It's Deaf Pride Day, a community Deaf Pride Day. So hearing people, you don't have to have any connection to our world or our community. It's just a day for you to come and join us and just take a peek into our world. And also we will have hundreds of students there to interpret, and we will have all kinds of events. Really, the focus of this is on awareness of the community, the hearing community, about our deaf community. But more important, on a personal note, this is about the deaf children. It is the one day that they're not disabled. It's the one day where they can stand up and sign a story and be proud.
When is it and where?
And this will be on April 12th. It's 3 days before taxes, so if that helps you remember. Saturday, August 12th.
No, April.
April 12th. It's been a bad day. Anyway, April 12th. And it will start at about 10 in the morning. Please bring your children, please. We will have a fun jumper. We will have animals for them to pet. We will have cookie painting and decorating. We will have sign language classes, just little ones like, hi, how are you, fine, what's your name, just a basic sign language class. We will have tattoos, not permanent. Temporary, the 1 week kind of tattoos. We will have face painting. Oh my gosh, I could be here all day. Oh, a silent auction. We've had many donations, a very generous community. We have beautiful raffle and silent auction prizes. So please bring your checkbook.
Yeah. This is from about 10 a.m. to about 3 p.m. on Saturday, April 12th. We have to get that straight, at the Western Nevada College Carson City campus. And these folks are putting this together, are you not? Tell us about your roles in this.
Okay, well, last year it was a little bit smaller. This year we're hoping to have an even bigger turnout. We have more donations, more volunteers. So we have 2 people coordinating it. Sarah is going to be the chief coordinator, and I'm the co-coordinator. What we do, we make sure that when you have such a community outpouring, like Cindy said, we have a very generous community here. When you have so many people volunteering their time, their money, their gifts, whatever it is, you got to keep track of it all, because otherwise you can just fall flat on your face. So that's really what Sarah and I work to do, is make sure that the volunteers know they're showing up at the right time, and they're on time, on track, they know what their assignments are. Some people, a lot of times, I want to help, they don't know how. So come to us. We'll tell you how. We've got a list this long for you to,
no
to start working on.
So do you have many students working with you too?
Oh, we've got tons. Yeah.
Yeah. Cindy, her deaf culture class, her whole class is involved in supporting us, and many of the interpreting students are volunteering to help and get involved so the deaf and hearing can communicate. It's really cool. So we see the whole program is really wonderful and involved.
Definitely. And Sarah, do you, what do you think, being a person who is deaf, what do you think this will mean to the deaf community on a personal level?
Really, being involved with Deaf Pride Day is wonderful because it's an opportunity for deaf people to get together and socialize, and hearing people, and they are not disabled that day. And have the opportunity to have fun together, also learn more about what's up in the community, and like normally we have tables for all the different technology, webcams, TT-wise, for deaf people to use the phone. So they have an opportunity to learn more about what's up with the new technology and all the new things that are out there. It's really wonderful to have an opportunity to learn and be together and socialize.
So you'll be offering resources for the community as well?
Oh, yes. Office of Disability Services, Deaf and Hard of Hearing Resource Advocacy Group, Nevada Association for the Deaf, Sprint, who currently has a contract with the state of Nevada to offer the relay services. So yes, we have a lot going on, but a lot of fun for the kids too. So it'll be educational for the parents and the adults that come, and also the best thing is the kids. They realize they're not alone. You have to understand, can you imagine being the only one in a school? You cannot communicate with anyone except for your interpreter. Imagine that.
It certainly makes your life narrow, doesn't it?
That's right. They can't talk with the principal. I mean, they can. They can utilize the interpreter, but the interpreter is the only one. So all of that incidental information, the fun part, that's the day when everybody can get together and have friends, and communication is not an obstacle.
And one of the things, too, when you study other cultures, other languages, obviously whenever you have another language, you have another culture. The deaf culture, the biggest difference I would say between deaf culture and hearing culture is deaf culture is highly collectivist. Everybody's a part of just this big family in deaf culture, and it's just a wonderful time to go learn about a different culture, but feel like, you're really part of something, something that you wouldn't otherwise have the chance to experience.
Absolutely.
Glad I missed. I agree with that.
Definitely. Yeah. And this is all free. And what I love about it is that it's for everyone. It's not just for the deaf community. And how wonderful to have young children, hearing children, playing, doing artwork next to deaf children. To me, it really it will be enriching for everyone.
Oh, yes. And it's a great opportunity for kids to get exposed to something different. And I have never met a hearing or deaf kid that did not absolutely love learning to sign. Cow, wow, deer, woohoo, and I'm definitely bringing my children, and they're bilingual. My children are hearing even though I'm deaf. But, yeah.
Very good. Well, for the few minutes that we have left, let's talk about the program, what we offer at Western in terms of if you're interested in deaf studies, deaf culture. So you mentioned deaf culture, so you don't just learn the mechanics of signing, you learn the history, or tell us about that.
Yes, we have two classes. One focuses fully on deaf culture itself, and the other one is the history of deafness from way back to now, and the different countries and how their deaf culture, or their history. Okay, so it's really neat. And then also we have ASL level 1 through 4, 5, and 6. We have conversational ASL and receptive ASL. So if you are interested, and please, I hope you are, contact me at WNC.edu. Okay, contact me at Frank, F-R-A-N-K, that's my last name, the letter C, the number 3, at WNC.edu, or it might be easier just to call me at 445-4407, and I can talk on the phone, but please speak very clearly, okay?
Now, for you, when you talk about of course, this, you're living the deaf culture, if you will. How is it for you? You have a French background too. Mm-hmm. How is the deaf culture similar or dissimilar to other non-native cultures?
Well, it's really interesting when you look at, number one, the language. It's such an interesting language because not only is it, obviously a separate language in and of itself, it's a different modality. So instead of, we speak French, we speak Spanish, we speak English, you're all speaking. But when you take your voice out of it, it opens up your eyes a lot more than you would think. Also, it helps, I've connected the two. If I'm communicating with like a French professor who, maybe I forgot the word for whatever it is, if I know the sign for it, 9 times out of 10 the professor will go, oh, this is what you mean. So really, it's one of those just extra benefits to learning sign language is it helps you communicate, and here I am trying not to talk with my hands now.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it's really, it helps you clarify when you're speaking. Even, I think it would be a great class for people interested in acting, mm-hmm. people interested in public speaking, because they always tell you, in those speaking classes, move, use your hands, be, energetic, and it also helps you show that you're interested in what you're talking about, and you're not, just kind of a stiff being out there talking about whatever you're doing. And also, back to your question about, different cultures, it's very interesting coming from a French background because you'll learn when you take the deaf history class that French Sign Language actually influenced American Sign Language. Now, obviously, they're not the same language, but there was a heavy influence when American Sign Language first came to be. It was derived from French Sign Language. So that's just one of those little things you get to be a part of when you start studying other cultures, these just little incidental ties between cultures. Who would have thought American Sign Language and French had a connection?
Right.
So there you go.
That's fantastic. Well, of course, nonverbal communication is really stronger than verbal communication, and deaf studies is very much a testament to that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, 60% of American Sign Language has nothing to do with your hands.
Really? That's interesting. Mm-hmm. So we are just about out of time. I want to thank you all for being here. I have learned so much, and it's just been such a pleasure to have you here. I know you teach many, many courses. You teach, I was looking in there in Carson City and Fallon and Douglas.
Yes.
And just tell people again what the name of your degree is and how they can get in touch with you in the 30 seconds or so we have left.
Well, the easiest way is just to go to WNC.edu. And you can find my number in there, or call me at 445-4407. We offer classes in Fallon, Douglas, and sometimes Fernley, obviously here in Carson City, and we are expanding a lot. And we really, really need interpreters, so come on down.
Thank you for being with us. This was a really outstanding program. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. We'll see you next time on Lifelong Learning on Location.